Hi all, got a day off of an alright day today. I'm going to talk about, first of two parts, talk about the cools of Little Sippy. Because I see, what's some, they're a bit long. Alicia Clark are a bit shorter, but I don't know, I prefer Little Sippy a little bit. Hot shake. Well, when I first heard about Little Sippy and his, what's it, and the cools, interestingly, I was thinking, Larson be on his own, wouldn't hear anything. Fucking hell. There we go. Alright, so yeah. Little Sippy, I find with him, he's a lot kinder, he does troll him, but I mean, if he was there just talking to him, letting him down slowly, because you know that Clark did admit, yeah, it's all fake, but he's not going to, Dan Larson ain't going to believe it. I think he's, trying to grasp at whatever stories he can. If it's what gives him comfort, that's what he'll do. Even though it's worse than he thinks because it's affecting actual people. Talk about that in another episode. But this idea of contacting log house, especially like him, and it's not the first time we've had someone like Lil Sippy. There's another person like him who called Black Clark, a guy very similar. Threats to schools, and this guy Lil Sippy threats to schools. Now, if he did, he did. If he didn't, he didn't. I'd rather that he didn't. But it's a bit of a theme, those sort of people going to him. But hey, if he's innocent, fine. But we know Danny Larson definitely not innocent. He did it on camera. He definitely, deserves to be in jail. But I do think there's a, I don't know. I think Lil Sippy probably is bringing a lot more comfort to Daniel, which I'm okay with though in publishing it constantly. If Daniel knew, I mean, you think on one hand he'd be upset because it's private conversations, letting his guts out about how he feels, but I think he probably still thinks he's as famous in a positive way that, oh, send this to the fans and blah blah blah, and it's not helping him, especially if he does get transferred and eventually are found competent. All this will be used against him. All because he's admitting constantly. And the thing is, he keeps on saying, one thing Daniel Larson keeps on saying, which it doesn't matter, is that he's, he didn't actually know how to make a bomb, didn't know how to do this, how to do that. That's not the charges. Charges not on making bombs. Charges were on, making threats. Because that's a crime. Daniel Larson, I'm sure, thinks, oh, say whatever, it's whatever, but it's like, when you make those sort of threats to sort of institutions, even though I'm sure the White House gets a lot of them, they still have protocols. It causes stress and panic. Often if people, I mean, with like the White House government buildings, they have their own procedures to deal with it. But he threatened, he threatened a housing that he was at. They don't know him that well. They knew what he was like. They don't keep up to date with him. So when he's doing that sort of thing, yeah, it's going to cause panic. That's the point of it, because it's what causes panic. But I do appreciate the videos by Lil Sippy. Definitely more than Clark. Clark is just toxic with. Lil Sippy does sound a bit more gentle, but he shouldn't be knowing better than to contact him. Or at least publishing it, because if he wants to talk to Daniel, fine, do it, but don't publish it. I mean, I appreciate it, but as you know, it's not going to help Daniel. It'll be used against him if he does go to court. But I mean, in terms of the calls Daniel's had and admitted to, It's pretty good information about his psyche, that he's still obsessed, that he's still deluded. And I was a bit doubtful at first and say, oh, if he's not transferred, they'll release him. But apparently that is true. They will do that. But I think what Daniel thinks to be let back on the streets and X, Y, and Z, I don't think so. Because if you're found incompetent, especially if you're Daniel Larson, the courts know him. I'm sure that, especially if you're not just on one charge of threats, but 7. The FBI will chat, they will talk to other institutions, and, they'll bite him in the ass. But Daniel Larson is definitely mentally ill, but he still did what he did, and he's admitted to Sippy. Oh, cold out, fucking hell. A little cold, I think it's about 6 degrees or something, or, no, I don't say. Oh, 10 degrees, but 10, I think that's probably 55 to 60-ish in Fahrenheit, I think. They're a bit colder, probably range to see. We don't do Fahrenheit here. Good, it's confusing too. But with Daniel, I think I do feel a little bit sorry for him, but he's still bad. He's dangerous. But as long as he's institutionalised, I'd rather that than been let out in the streets. That's asking for trouble. He will be more violent. He's escalated before. He'll do it because his mentality, he needs to protect his biggest interest, which he talks about. It's about his fame, his grace, his this, his that. And he's talked about, and one of the last calls, talked about hitting himself. And then his cellmate saying it's not worth it, and that shows that, yeah, prison ain't great for him, but he's contained in doing that. And I think other people around him will understand why. He's obviously autistic, he's in denial about it, or thinks he's only a little bit, he's very autistic. That sort of violent stim are not great. But I mean, in terms of what he's been through, it's understandable, but I think he needs to be in some sort of controlled environment. Whether Sippy is helping, I don't necessarily think so, but I think Little Sippy is doing a service to Daniel by listening to him. He does need a calming for. Not like with Clark, who said, oh, if they act like X, Y, and Z, go and hit them, attack them, don't be a bitch, blah, blah. That's not going to help. With Little Sippy, I mean, he's had the same sort of charges against him. He's been in the same institutions that he's in, he knows about it, and that's fine. I think Sippy does need to be real, but then again, Little Sippy might believe what he's, and I don't know. If he does, I can't blame him. He's young himself, I think. He looks like 20s or 30 years old, actually. But he's younger. That's good for him. I think, in terms of the calls, they're good for Daniel, but also not good. They're good to give some comfort. It's someone to talk to. And hearing that phone call with Daniel standing up for himself, that was I was expected. But I'm very glad that it didn't get worse, because Daniel needs help. He needs punishment. I'd say give him a good few years in jail, but he needs institution for the rest of his life, honestly. But I think Little Sippy generally supporting his delusions by saying, oh, it is real, Tina and Clark and blah, blah, blah. It's not helping. So I'll do another update. Thanks specifically, I'll probably re-listen to some more of the calls again, just to get it right. But there are some things he's talked about, especially his last call about the FIS. I don't know if I'd say like Federal Inmate Services, probably, I'd guess that initialism stands for. But whenever he talks about what Tina is telling to him, it's obviously bullshit. But when it came to one of the last calls, well, I think the last call, that shows who the real Tina is and the real Grace that they do not want. They want a restraining order. That talked about a bit more, but I'm just going to enjoy a fag and just chill. Alright, see you later.